John Kaye of the Greens in New South Wales spoke a short time ago. Let's take a listen.
What happened today was much bigger than just ICAC. It was much bigger than just Australian Water Holdings. What happened today goes right to the heart of the problems of New South Wales politics. It talks about influence peddling, and it talks about the corrupting influence of lobbying. It talks about people in New South Wales being shut out of decisions while the big end of town has unfettered access to our politicians. What happened to Barry O'Farrell was that he got caught up in a web of influence peddling, in a culture that is destroying politics in New South Wales. Politics in New South Wales has to change. Today has to be a learning day for New South Wales politics. We have to learn, every political party has to learn, that there has to be an end to the politics of influence peddling, an end to the politics and the culture of people who are friends of the big political parties having their say over the future of the state. New South Wales deserves better than losing a Premier every 3 years. New South Wales deserves better than being brought low in ICAC. It is time for a new beginning for New South Wales politics where the culture of influence peddling is brought to an end. Any questions?
Do you believe this resignation changes anything?
This resignation will change nothing if the Coalition and the Labor Party fail to learn the lessons of the past 16 years. This resignation will change nothing in New South Wales politics if the Coalition and the Labor Party fail to learn the lessons. This state is infected with a disease of influence peddling. It's brought down a Premier. It will bring down more Premiers unless there is a substantial change to that culture. Unless we get lobbying out into the open, unless we insist that every meeting between an influence peddler and a government decision maker is made in the public domain. We need minutes of these meetings, and those meetings need to be on the web.
Do you think Barry O'Farrell deserves any praise for taking this stand and for sort of taking it on the chin, so to speak?
Barry O'Farrell was so caught up in the culture of influence peddling, in the culture of powerful mates putting pressure on him, that he didn't even know, couldn't even remember a $3,000 bottle of Grange. Mr O'Farrell has stepped aside as Premier. He had to step aside because he'd misled ICAC. But the reality of the situation is that there is a much greater malaise that affects politics in New South Wales.
Some people are saying that ICAC could have too much power, 2 premiers in 20 years, granted, but by what you're saying, it should almost have more power.
ICAC has done a great job in exposing corruption within the Labor Party and ICAC has done a great job in exposing corruption within the Labor Party and influence peddling within the Coalition. Any person who talks about reducing the power of ICAC is saying that we want to go back to the bad old days. ICAC at a state level is the pathway to the future. It's really up to Mr Abbott to talk about what he's going to do federally. The lessons of New South Wales should be learnt by federal politicians. If there's any other lesson that comes out of today's events, it is that the federal government needs to institute its own version of ICAC.
Do you think there need to be law changes around lobbying?
In 2010, ICAC came up with a set of recommendations. Both political parties ran a mile from the most difficult of those. It's time they were implemented. It's time that every lobbyist and every lobbying activity was in the public domain. Every lobbying activity is minuted, every lobbying activity ends up on the web where interested citizens can search for it. The problem for New South Wales is the behind closed doors culture, where influence is peddled, where the powerful mates of governments get their way at the expense of the community and at the expense of the environment of New South Wales. Let today be the day at which we turn that around. We listen to ICAC, we change the culture of lobbying, we change the regulation of lobbying, and we create a state that is known not for losing premiers, but for gaining openness and transparency. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we'll leave that there. That was John Kaye from the Greens commenting behind the back of Parliament House there in Sydney on the resignation, soon-to-be resignation of the New South Wales Premier Barry O'Farrell, and commenting there on how the system can be cleaned up.